iRacing Arcade is one of the most important racing games that's come out in recent years. It has an actual career mode, like a proper career mode. I'm not starting this video with gameplay or racing or anything like that. This is, I think, where a lot of people are going to get enjoyment out of iRacing Arcade. As you obviously do well in the races and you win trophies and you win credits, you spend it upgrading your base. You see yourself go from really kind of like basic surroundings to having like a flagship racing enterprise. And I think that's really important to start this video off with, because so many games have tried to do this or said they're going to do it, and they've ended up doing it in a really patronizing way. They patronize us by telling us we're getting a career mode when we know that we're not. And this is, I'm going to show you everything about iRacing Arcade in this video. It's coming out very soon. Before that, a big disclaimer. I worked on, as a part of a very small team, on the original Circuit Superstars game. And if you know what Circuit Superstars is, you'll recognize it in iRacing Arcade. So I know the team very well, obviously. I didn't review Circuit Superstars at the time, I think, but I worked on that game. And I'm kind of proud of it, but it had its failings. I think I found it difficult to play personally with the top-down view and everything. iRacing Arcade fixes so much that was a problem in Circuit Superstars, in my view. First of all, you have actual licensing, and I'm really proud that the team has got proper licensing in place here, actual tracks, iRacing, actual cars as well. So first things first, there is going to be some controversy with this game from the traditional iRacing crowd, because you can see here I was driving at Imola, and it doesn't, if you look at the layout, it makes your head hurt. The same here. Do you know what track this is? You can probably recognise this is Bahrain from the Bahrain flags and the pit complex and everything. But if you try and drive the layout like an actual iRacing Bahrain track, it won't work. This is stylised, and it's stylised, I think, in quite a clever way, because basically it kind of like it's like a greatest hits version of the track. So you're not going down straights for a long period of time getting bored. Like, there's always stuff to do. It keeps it nice and punchy. However, I think there is going to be criticism here, and I think it's valid criticism, because it's branded an iRacing game, that this is not one-to-one tracks. It also has some cool features, like this free cam here, where you can kind of pretend you're an F1 helicopter pilot. I think is really cool. I would love to see the team expand this with like cinematic filters, and maybe make it easier for people to create videos of their races. Now, when you start the game for the first time, again, this is just so different. It's why the game is so important. The game is brave enough to not put you into a menu system, not get you to sign up, not throw you in settings. It just takes you to the track for a license test. And not many games are brave enough to do that these days. Most games, they launch you into some mad menu system. So I really rate that, because they get everyone to driving as soon as possible. And this is a pretty proud moment for me, actually. Like I said, having worked on Circuit Superstars, to see like an actual Fiat 500 here in iRacing Arcade is really cool. They know what they're doing with gameplay. You can see that it just feels good. The sound effects, the way the camera pans, just like the UI of it, like it's really clear what buttons to press. You know that this is you're gonna be able to play it with your kids. You're gonna be able to play it with your family. And this is the menu system for the first time. And for me, again, it was a pretty powerful moment, seeing an actual like persistent career mode here. Like, obviously the background is this barn with oil on the floor and sprockets and everything. And I've been asking for this for so many years in big racing games with their big budgets, to do this and kind of have the sense of progression like that, so we can physically see ourselves go on a journey. And I want to go on a journey with this game. I want to unlock all of the cars to the the LMPs and the F1 cars as well. And probably there's not enough content in this game, to be honest with you. Probably I'm going to have so much fun progressing and going through, I'm actually going to run out of content. Now, that's the complete opposite of a lot of racing games these days, that try and give us endless content, but actually you never really get your teeth sunk into it. So what I did first of all was I went on the hardest difficulty setting, and I got absolutely battered. So I browsed the cars here. You can see these are the cars that I want to go through and unlock. And then I actually customized my car with the paint, which is pretty nice. And then I lowered the difficulty setting, and I managed to win the race. And again, the time difference in this race was pretty big. I was maybe like 3 seconds a lap faster, 2-3 seconds a lap faster, maybe more you can see here. But because there's a meta to it that I wanted to win the championship, and eventually I caught up and I was joint first, and that meant I got the touring car, this is like a different sense of progression. Now, for this early video, iRacing Arcade said I could share 5 minutes of unique gameplay. So I've shown you 5 minutes of unique gameplay, but I'm going to talk to you about the multiplayer and replay the previous footage, which is hopefully okay because it's not new gameplay. So there is multiplayer. I did try the time trials. I got on the leaderboard in the world, which is great. I think time trials are going to be really good in this game because it just works well with the Ghost. It's completely different driving against AI, which is very chaotic, and actually doing time trialing, which when it becomes very scientific. There's two sides to this game. There's clearly an arcade side, but there's also, like any game that I think has decent fundamentals, it turns into a very competitive game. And I remember something I did with Circuit Superstars back in the day. I don't know if anyone remembers it. It would be pretty cool. Let me know in the comments if you did, by the way. We did this thing with the Top Gear test track, and we invited people like Jimmy Broadbent and Super GT, and even Lando Norris back in the day, which is pretty cool for me, to set times, and some people got pretty competitive on that, which was awesome, and that spirit is definitely still here. Another interesting part of the career mode that you may have seen in some of the footage that I showed you in that 5 minutes is actually you can hire drivers as well. So it becomes a bit of a management game, or like, you know, those sort of games where you're building out your team as well. And I think especially for kids to see the team part of it is really important, because when you do something like iRacing, yes, you have your crew chief. When you do something like Le Mans Ultimate, Rennsport, Project Motor Racing, whatever, they don't really let you know how much of a team there is in motor racing. And there's small things that iRacing Arcade does, like at the beginning of every race, show your car on the trailer, coming off the trailer, your team there, and also the ability to hire drivers that I think I know they really get this because I know the team. So I know they get how motorsport is and how collaborative it is. And when you go to World Motorsport, teams help each other out, and you're all there to kind of, you know, you're competing, but you're also there to put on a show for the crowd. I think they get this, and I think for kids to understand, especially like how motorsport works, I get a real karting sensation from this game. Like when I was, again, doing those early races and license tests, it feels like karting to me. The way that you're learning, you're exploring, you're experimenting, especially in the Fiat 500 car. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think what's really important for this game is that it manages to deliver new content, and hopefully they can do that. Otherwise, people are going to run out of content. And Circuit Superstars, I feel never really took off. Even though it was on console, on PC, I have a funny feeling that might be due to the camera. This is just more intuitive. So if this goes well for them, I really hope iRacing supports them with getting more licensed cars in there, getting more tracks, getting more game modes. You can see the team's clearly very confident about, oh, we've got a free camera, let's use it also in the area for a HQ, as well as just unlocking it in the race as well. So that is iRacing Arcade. I will be able to share more later, including obviously the online. It's coming out March the 3rd or March the 4th. I'll try and find a link and put it in the description. Let me know what you think of it, and let me know what features you would like added to this game, because they will definitely watch this video, and I know they're really keen on feedback. Make sure to subscribe as well to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.